Hi, update here on Sunday. I'm at home here in Italy, and I thought I'd just give you a quick update on what's been happening. I put up a post on Friday of the update on my veggie garden and my strawberries, which are already making fruit, and I've eaten 2 of them already. So it's a Sunday evening post. I'm recording this on my phone. I don't have any equipment. I don't have any lights on me. I'm just sitting in my living room on my phone. Okay, so what's been happening? So summer's come a bit late this year. Well, it's not officially here yet. Officially, it should be on the 21st of June. But we had a very rainy, how do I put this? We had a very wet spring. It rained just about every day. I don't have any problem with rain because I'm not a great lover of huge heat, but we haven't had many really hot days yet. We've had one or two where it's been 25, 26, but generally it's been hovering in the sort of 16s, 17s, maximum kind of 20, 21. By the way, my perfect temperature is 23 degrees, winter, summer, spring. So yeah, I've been quite happy really with the weather. It's rose month, as you know, and look at this beauty. So I don't mind being upstaged by my roses, never do. Isn't she pretty? She's like a cupcake. And I've had various roses. If you want to look at my garden update, you'll see that my antique roses that I was growing in the garden when I was in the house, they've survived, and I found a few out to friends, in pots to friends, and also to friends who have a garden. So this week I went to visit those roses growing in my friend's garden, also on Lega Maggiore, but on the other side near Vabagna. I'm closer down toward Strese, Arona, Isola Borromeo. And yeah, they're flourishing. I can't believe how those roses have taken off and grown. So yeah, roses are the best part of my life and always will be. Even if I lived in a 5-meter square box, I'd manage to squeeze a rose in there somewhere. So very happy with these beauties. Aren't they pretty? Yeah. I've been sorting out the apartment, doing this and that. I changed a bit of the layout, and the mirror has now moved to that side. And yeah, I guess one of these days, I've been asked a few times, I'll do a tour, but not today. What am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about the fact that my town is crawling with tourists already. I can't even tell you. As soon as the first fingers of winter had prized themselves off Italy, the tourists started arriving. And I love living in a tourist town. I mostly love being a tourist in my own town. And what I do, I walk every day. That's one of the promises I made to myself for 2024. And so far, so good. I walk every day. Sometimes it's about 5 or 6 kilometers. That's what I should be doing. But sometimes it lands up about 3 or 4 kilometers. But I generally go down. I do all my things. I do all the things that you and I have to do in our lives to make sure that everything stays in place. And then I go for a walk. I try to walk after a meal, after lunch generally, but occasionally I run late because I've got too many things happening early in the morning. And I have a brunch at around sort of 12-ish, and I walk after that. So my new goal that you need to hold me accountable for, those of you who've subscribed and follow and comment down below. Really love that. I love to hear from you. I have to be accountable that I will walk every day. So every time I eat a meal, I'm trying not to snack at all. Every time I try to eat a meal, every time I eat a meal, after that I have to walk. I've got to walk, and I do love walking, and I'm lucky that I live in the most beautiful place. I can literally go downstairs and look up at my garden up above me, and then right there I have the whole promenade along the lake, and I can walk. I can walk until I can't walk anymore, really. I could walk for 20 kilometers if I wanted to, without being stuck in traffic, without having exhaust fumes being breathed in by me. So I'm infinitely happy. There's nature all around me. I also love to go up that way, up the hill, and up the hill leads towards the fort, which looks over the whole area, looks over all of Piemonte and the mountains. That is so inspirational. That's beautiful. And you sit among bird song on a beach. Generally, I take my water bottle with me, but sometimes I go to my friends who have a lovely bistro up the top near the fort, and I have a glass of wine and something, maybe a little salad or something. Or in winter, polenta and sausage, but let's forget about winter, it's gone. So those polentas and sausages and glasses of red wine that were consumed 4 months ago, they leave their mark. So yes, summer is here. I'll start swimming soon. I swim every day for an hour. I have my beach, which is about 20 minutes walk away, which I adore. But it's not warm enough to start swimming yet. But yes, so I'm going to up my walking program and try and get it back to 6, 7, or even 8 kilometers on the weekends, and every day in the week, 5 kilometers. So that's the update that you need to hold me accountable for. And slowly I will get back my summer body, and slowly I'll fit better into my bathing costume, and slowly my summer clothes will be better. Okay, great. What else has been happening? I've been doing the garden. I'll put the video up there so you can see my strawberries are producing. My peppers are starting to make peppers. The tomatoes, I planted about 4, 5, 6 this year. It's enough for me. I don't want to have the burden of having an entire vegetable garden to look after. But yeah, these things, I've got herbs, I've got basil, I've got parsley growing, I've got mint growing, all of this, all the herbs I need that I use thyme, oregano, they're all on the balcony, 2 minutes away from the kitchen, which is over there. So yes, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. So I'm thrilled about that. And my goals for this year, I've helped various people dealing with their visas, their elective visas, and trying to answer their questions about relocating to Italy, what the goods and the bads are. I made a post about a month ago about the truth, and I have always believed that when I came back onto YouTube after the terrible situation that we found ourselves in with COVID, where the whole world closed down, it made people really hungry to come back to Italy. People were freaking out. Will I ever see Italy again? I can't travel. People were really annoyed they couldn't travel. And even those of us who were vaccinated and had family across the world to travel to, we found our plans quite curtailed by the whole pandemic. Anyway, we are 2 years out of the pandemic now, if my calculations are correct. And yeah, Italy is going to have so many tourists this year. I read an article, I think in the New York Times, I think it was the New York Times, and also one in the Independent, to say that Italy can't cope with the number of people who are coming here on holiday. It's a lovely problem to have, because obviously the GDP of Italy is enhanced by all these tourists who love to come to Italy, love to go to the Amalfi Coast, love to come to the Ligurian coast, love to come to the Lake District, love to come to Como, love to come to Maggiore, love to come to Milan to Fashion Week and Design Week and all the other weeks. And Italy's got so much to offer. There's Tuscany, there's the beaches, there's Bari, there's the south, there's Sicily, there's Sardinia. There's so much to see and do, and many people come back year after year. Some of them have Italian heritage, but let's just say, if you just look at Venice, the number of people who pour into Venice every year, they've been trying to find a solution to manage all these enormous amounts of people who come all the time. And so far, whatever they've done in Venice has failed to stop people coming. They put a €5 charge on just coming into Venice for the day. It could be €8, something like that. If you just come as a day tripper into Venice, you've got to pay to get in the door. Obviously, the locals aren't paying that, and they were up in arms about it. They've tried to curtail the huge cruise boats that come in and literally swamp the whole city of Venice, which I always thought it was a great pity. I'm not a great lover of cruise boats. If you are, then good for you. I guess, yeah, there's enough people who will always get on a cruise boat. But they tried to stop these huge cruise boats coming right up to and docking in Venice and disgorging these millions of people. Anyway, Italy has always had this problem. Many countries would love to have this problem because they advertise how beautiful the country is. Come and be a tourist in our country. Croatia has always had adverts. Greece has adverts. Germany, Switzerland. Every country would like this problem of having way too many tourists putting money into the local coffers. But Italy has to manage a lot of people. The roads in Italy have to transport these people, whether they're driving a car because they hired a car. I think you need a special kind of personality to do that. The buses, the trains, the planes coming in, the ferries, the traghettos, the boats, all the forms of transport that take people up and down Italy, the ski lifts in winter to the skiing, because we have the Alps. We've got all these huge extremes of temperature. So we have the Alps up in the north where you can ski, and then the beautiful beaches in the north in both coasts, because Italy is a big old boot. It's a knee-length boot with a frilly top. So it's got this big, it's very big and wide at the top. Venice on that extreme, and on this extreme, the coast, the border was France at Sanremo and the Costa Azzurra, and that's the very north, and it keeps going up, and then Tuscany is sort of the middle of the shin, and then we come down to the heel, Bari, Puglia, all these beautiful Basilicata, all these lovely regions, the boot of Italy, and then up towards Naples, Amalfi, Tuscany, Liguria. It just doesn't end. There's so much to see, so much to do. In the middle of the country, there's the beautiful towns like Bologna, Faenza, all these historic, beautiful places people want to come and visit. There's also people coming to see the Ferrari factory and the Maserati factory. They come to Modena to experience the food and the culture of Italy. And of course, there are millions. I don't have the exact figure, but let's call it, 6 to 10 million Italians who hold Italian citizenship who don't live in Italy, but come here regularly. And if they wanted to, and sometimes they do, come and buy a house here and spend as many months as they can if they're retired and they're not working anymore. Or maybe flip it back between New York or California and Italy. All these people have to be accommodated in Italy. They have to be fed. They have to be watered. They have to be transported around. They have to be secured. They have to be policed. They have to be checked, that they're driving without endangering their lives or other people's lives. They have to use all the ablution facilities in Italy. You can imagine if a town usually has 50,000 people in its resident population, or let's say 40,000 people, that suddenly it's double or treble during the season. Little towns like Positano and Amalfi, all that sewage, sorry to bring up the word, the S word, but all that sewage has to be managed. It's extra. A lot of these fosse that run underneath the cities, and the drains and the storm drains that carry stuff into the sea, these things have been there since forever. They're ancient, and they're not modern systems with big dams and rivers with infrastructure that was built yesterday. This all has to be managed. Everything that happens has to happen, and most tourists who come just love the lovely shops and the experience and the wonderful Italian food and the restaurants and the vistas and the lovely tumbling houses going down to the sea. They love all of that. But the refuse, stuff that's thrown away, all the papers and junk and refuse that gets thrown away, if you just take one region of Italy, all that's got to be managed. Someone's got to be there to pick up the papers, to pick up the refuse, to manage the effluent system, to make sure there's fresh water in all the taps, all of that, to make sure there's bottled water, because most people want to buy bottled water to drink. So then the wine, wine distribution, north, west, east, south, it's all got to be wine's going from the islands up to the north, wine's going from the north and from Piemonte down to the other regions. All the stuff is flowing all around Italy to feed tourists and locals, of course, because they are also Italian tourists. In other words, Italians who live in Italy, who decide to go from the province they live in or the town they live in somewhere else on holiday. They also have needs. And so suddenly a small town that usually has 50 or 60,000 Italians can suddenly swell to 3 times or 4 times the amount. Airbnb exploded that even more, because before the hotels would somehow get full, and then when they were full, well, they went somewhere else. Now every home is being, a room is being let out or something else. So there could be 2, 3, 4, 5 more people in every home, which there wasn't before. So needless to say, Italy is super populated, and all of the stuff is happening all around us. And I'm really aware of it, because I watched this morning as the season really kicked in and the sun started getting hot this weekend. The wine distribution companies coming we've got so many wine bars and lovely restaurants along the promenade, and they all had to be supplied. They all have to have their water delivered, their wine delivered, their products that they need for the kitchen delivered, and it's all up and running. And there's beautiful shops. I'm very lucky. We have in the historical center here, gorgeous shops. Those all have to be delivered to, and the windows all have to be dressed. It's amazing what goes behind all the stuff you see in every country, of course, but I'm talking about Italy. So if you take all of that stuff and then you consider that Italy is concerned that it's just growing every year, and the infrastructure is kind of groaning at the seams. Rome, if you take the city of Rome, how many visitors it receives. It is the papal seat where the Pope, when he's in residence, St. Peter's, the number of tourists that come in when they have an audience with the Pope, the number of people who have to be accommodated, the metro system in Rome, which groans under the number of people trying to use it. There's a bus system. All of this stuff has to be managed. And so, yes, and then the police have to watch out for pickpockets. It all has to be managed. But through it all, I think Italy retains her crown as a place where so many people want to come, and so many people are happy to come on holiday here. So, will Italy keep receiving so many people on holiday? I guess so. But what has grown recently, as we know, because we've spoken about this on other editions that I've chatted about, is how many people then decide after 1, 2, or 3 visits, or some people have never even been here. They fall in love with Italy and they want to come and live here. and they start asking the difficult questions. Can I work? No, not unless you have an EU passport. Can I come and study if I can't work? Maybe. But more and more, it has to be a university course. It can't be a 2-week course that they give you a visa for. The quotas are always full. The any dispensations that the Italian government have to manage of residents who want to come here. Of course, if you have dual citizenship and you have an Italian passport, you can come and live here anytime you like. The requirement is simply that you go and register in a comune and that you pay your tax and that you get all your ducks in a row, and then you become resident here, and that involves permanent residence. And yes, you don't need to ask for any permission or a visa, but you still need to register. You need to become part of the health system, all of that stuff. You're an Italian, but you still have to register. So yeah, the question remains is, how do I come to Italy? And there are lots of Facebook groups. I've spoken about these before, about dual citizenship, about living in Italy, women particularly, and I call them second chance women, simply because they're over 50 generally. They've already had a life in America or whatever, or they could be 60 or 70, and they love Italy and have always dreamed of coming to retire in Italy. Of course, there are lots of couples who also want to come and retire in Italy or just visit Italy on the regular if they can, and stay as long as they want if they have an Italian passport. But generally the 90-day rule applies. You get a visa for 90 days. Etias should have been instituted this year. They pushed it back. It will probably start early next year, 2025, where just like if I go to America, I have to have a electronic visa to enter the country that clears me to enter the country. Etias will be instituted in Europe. That means everybody who travels to Europe who's not on a European Union passport needs to be cleared. So Etias, they will apply, I don't know, a week, a month, a couple of days before, pay the fee, and have their Etias visa to allow them to come into Europe. That will bring about a big change because people are used to just coming and getting their 30-day stamp when they come into the country. So anyway, here we are. I think I've covered enough for today. So if you have questions about Etias coming in, the new visa system, or questions about living here, holidaying here, or doing whatever here, I'm here. I look forward to your messages and your comments, and we'll talk again on the next one. So this is my Sunday broadcast going out to you today. Let me know if you enjoy it. Let me know if you have any questions, and please subscribe if you haven't. It makes it much easier for my channel to be recommended to other people. Once the channel grows and more subscribers, the like button is there for you to show your appreciation, and it also helps my posts to go up and be suggested to more people. A comment is always welcome. I'd love to engage with you guys. So from Amanda here on a lovely Sunday afternoon in Italy, look forward to chatting to you all soon. Let me know what you think of Italy, whether you've been, whether you'd love to come live here, whether you'd love to just come and visit and be on holiday. See you on the next one. From Amanda. Bye. Bye.